Morning. So this is the service insertion test for the POC take 2. So what we've got now, I'm just going to walk you through a few slides before demonstrating the test to you. I've simplified it as requested, so now there is no physical hub in place. Everybody can talk directly to one another by the MPLS link. Every device, and you'll see more of these in the network, but these 3 sites are what are going to be used for testing service insertion. For the default overlay and the service insertion overlay, I simplified it so it just uses the MPLS link. Initially, everybody can talk directly to each other. So you can see that with the default only bio or business intent overlay applied, everybody has a direct path to everybody else. So this is the Vienna site, this is the Madrid site. So when I first run the test, they'll be able to speak to or talk to each other directly across the direct tunnel with the default bio only applied. So excuse me. So once I've demonstrated that, I'm going to apply the service insertion business intent overlay, but only to Vienna, Paris, and Madrid. Now, this will affect the iPerf traffic because the classification for the service insertion overlay is based on port 12,000. So everything will now be redirected. Instead of going direct, we will use a tunnel to the Edge Connect, and I have a Linux host that's simulating a firewall running TCP dump, so we will see the traffic start coming through Paris before forwarding it to its server location, iPerf server location at Madrid. So that's the basic test. Now move to the orchestrator, and you can see here that I've got the service insertion overlay highlighted. It's not applied anywhere yet. And I have the default overlay, which is applied everywhere. So everybody has a direct connection to everybody else. So just a quick look at the business intent overlays. Default at the bottom, full mesh, and applied to all appliances. Service insertion, this is not applied yet, but we will apply that to Vienna, Madrid, and Paris. And if we take a quick look at that, you can see that I'm classifying on port 12,000 or port 12,001. That's what the original test required. It's specified as a hub and spoke just for this overlay. This is a logical topology. It's not a physical. Everybody has direct connectivity to everybody else, as already explained. But for the purposes of this overlay only, we've selected a hub and spoke just for this traffic. And you can see that we only have an MPLS link for both overlays participating. I'm only going to be using these 2 overlays, so you can ignore the rest of them. Apply overlays, just to show you what's applied at the moment. So every site has the default only overlay applied, and we'll be able to check in the flows field to see direct tunnels in the first test and tunnels via Paris on the second test. So let me now go to the hosts. So let me connect here first. PC2 is Vienna, and that will be my client. PC4 is in Madrid. This will be my server. Yeah, that will be my server. So we'll start listening there, and this guy, which is going to be PC3, is going to be the emulated or simulated firewall in Paris. And I'm just going to have that listening until, I mean, we shouldn't see anything until we apply the service insertion overlay. So let me start this off. We can see that the traffic is now going from Vienna to Madrid. And if I look at the live view, I just bring up live view for the default overlay. You can see we're looking at the default overlay only using MPLS, and we should see the traffic traversing this direct path. Yeah, clearly traffic going via the business intent overlay, the default business intent overlay. And if we have a look at the flow table, you can see that we have Madrid has an inbound tunnel from Vienna and the outbound tunnel to Vienna, and both default overlay, so they're direct tunnels effectively. So that demonstrates the first part of the test. I'm now going to apply the business intent overlay for service insertion. I'll stop this test running first. When I restart that after the overlay, the service insertion overlay has been applied, we should see the traffic coming through Paris. So quickly apply overlays, and I only want to select Austria, France and Spain. And then if I apply service insertion only, leaving the default there, so for all other traffic, not including the iPerf traffic, will still go direct. It's only the iPerf traffic. We could classify on all traffic, but for the purpose of this test, it's just classifying on port 12,000. Just wait for this to finish and rerun the test. Okay, so now if I come back here, start my client going at Vienna, we have the same connectivity. You can clearly now see all the traffic is going via Paris, and we can check that on the overlay flows table, and we should get a different view this time. Yeah, so now you can see that over on the left, Paris is involved in this mix. Now we have service insertion from Vienna to Paris, and the outbound, corresponding inbound outbound tunnels, and the same for Madrid, and all going via Paris. And clearly that is demonstrated here via this TCP dump running on PC3 or the emulated Paris firewall. So that concludes the demo. Hopefully this provides enough information to show you that we can clearly support the use case. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.